for capital expenditure for a year ending on the 31st day of December, this bill is read a third time and passed. And I hope that this appropriation bill will contribute to moving Nigeria forward and will assist Mr. President in his renewed hope agenda to renew the hope of Nigerians in all facets of life, from infrastructure to security and to provision of even respect for this country from the international community, most especially to leave a better nation for the future generations of this country.
All right, welcome back. That's from the Senate President of Nigeria talking. Of course, both Akpabio will try to give us a breakdown on that budget, a total of 54.9 trillion naira budget with a statutory transfer of 3.5 trillion, current expenditure of 13.6 trillion, also capital expenditure of 23.9 trillion, debt servicing 14.3 trillion, and fiscal deficit about 13.8 trillion, deficit to GDP ratio 1.56%. Now, when we look at that budget, it really calls for concern. The first concern for some of us here is that the budget was not adequately scrutinized, because the time at which the budget was submitted and the figures were readjusted, one would have expected that there should have been some form of query. Query the budget, question the budget, if possible. Let there be some form of objections. Of course, the senator that's in charge of the preparation committee have come out to say that most of the figures have been adjusted by his committee members, but we didn't see a lot of that. This looks like like Nigerians will say, rubber-stamped Senate, where what you give is what you get out. And this is not really nice. What would have expected? Like I've said, we carried along. I've said this before. Now, why don't we have a budget in a kind of scenario where we get to say, hey, if there is, I've explained, I'm using a contractual agreement. The last time we spoke about this. If he's saying at this point you're going to add to the figures that you've not implemented, then let's go back to the drawing board and say, okay, let's start again from the scratch. Let's get Nigerians to let's have input of Nigerians. The adjusted figures. Ministry of Health right now, you're adjusting the figures, but then if you look at the figures of the Ministry of Health, can it be compared to that of security? That of education getting 13% or 15% as required. Because if we're talking about people that are going to push this country and move this country to its next height, we need to talk about a lot of appropriated budgets for the educational sector. Now, we didn't see that happen, even in this budget. We thought that at this point we're talking about more of scientific driven innovations, and the budget should carry technology as its bedrock, but we didn't see that again happening. Now one begin to ask a lot of questions that are begging for answer. Of course, the both house of the bilateral legislature have been able to come out and approve the 54.9 trillion naira budget, and this is like the first time we're seeing this happen in the country. Now, there are a lot of questions that we still even have to ask again, even on this on the show this morning. One of those questions is, in terms of the committee that sat down to scrutinize this budget, let them give us the modalities that were used to scrutinize the budget. Let Nigerians understand what went behind closed doors, and how we were able to come out, what figures, what were taken out of the budget, what was approved, and what were the things that we even say, okay, at this point we're going to be inculcating and going to improve on the budget. So Senator Olamileko Adeolu, who is the chairman of the Committee on Appropriation, that's Yayi, we need to have a lot of questions. He said, I quote him, he said, inadequate funding and reduced allocations to ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs. He also highlighted the rising cost of governance and the continued depreciation of the Naira. All of this depreciation, all of these concerns of inadequate fundings and reduced allocations to ministries, how much was each ministry collecting prior to this time? How much are they collecting right now? How much is earmarked for agencies of government, departments and parastatals, even the MDAs? These are questions that are still begging for answers. They're lingering, and we need urgent answers to this particular question.
I think before we get to that point, like I've mentioned, now as we speak, that most Nigerians don't even understand what the budget is all about. I will tell you for free that somebody just said these are just big numbers. You don't tell us what impact it has in the country, what it will do for us as an individual. Many individuals do not understand when you say the budget is out, okay, you're just talking about figures and numbers. What does it do for me? What does it do for an individual? What is my input when it comes to that? How come, like you mentioned, there is no transparency, there are no inputs of, it's just garbage in, garbage out. Is what we see, is what we get, and that's the figures, and that's what it is. So a lot of people just wonder what is actually going on. But let's just see how well this plays out. And hopefully things get better.
I like the way you keep being optimistic.
I'm a Nigerian. What other country will I go to?
If we move the budget from 49.7 trillion naira to
that's a lot. That's a lot.
It's approximately 55 trillion.
Yes, it is. But at the same time, Godwin, it has been passed. What are you going to do about it?
Well, we'll keep asking the right questions.
Let's keep asking the right questions, and hopefully the needful is done, and explanations are being brought forward. And at the same time, well, it's Global Morning, like we've mentioned before, and up next is a newspaper review. Stick around, do not go anywhere. The program continues shortly. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, it's Global Morning, and right now at about this point is a newspaper review segment. And we're starting with the first paper of the day, which is the Punch newspaper, giving us some very punchy headlines. And above the main plate of the Punch newspaper, it says here, Southwest governors plan joint operation against ISWAP terrorists, and you can find that on page 2. And next it says federal government envoy slams Canada for denying military chiefs visas. Okay, and that you can find on page 40. Yahoo boys now involved in ritual killings at banditry, EFCC chair, and you can find that on page 16. Very disturbing headline there. And beside the main plate of the Punch newspaper, it says Northwest communities blame fresh killings on troops withdrawal. You can find that on page 2. And the star story of the Punch newspaper says 54.99 trillion naira budget. That's a lot. Like Godwin will say, it's the fractions have changed a bit, but that's not a bit, but it's a lot there. Experts list funding hurdles as debt servicing tax takes 14 trillion naira. And you can find that read on page 2. And one of the writers says lawmakers approve 344.85 billion naira for themselves. Salaries, overheads, gulp, huge share of budget. No comment there from me. And it says Ondo clash over ownership of oil-rich island. You can find that read on page 34. Customs deliver 3,897 arms and munitions to control center. And it says loan controversy on Onosoye defends self in court. You can find that on page 11. And then one of the story that I find very interesting is federal government ex-envoys slam Canada for denying military chiefs visas. That's one. And the other one that says Yahoo boys now involved in ritual killings, banditry. Unfortunate incident there. What would have caused that? As in the federal government saying that ex-envoys slam Canada for denying military chiefs visas. What's going on? I hope it has nothing to do with the migrants or from the US, but everybody's slowly adapting a little of that. Well, if you notice, some countries have done this or that. There's now like a hard procedure when it comes to issues, migrants, when it comes to paperwork, when it comes to all of that. But extending to this chiefs, I thought it was automatic. They can go into any countries that they want without any restrictions. So what's going on? What do you think is going on?
Well, I think that there's no automatic diplomatic visa to enter, to get into other countries.
But these are military chiefs we're talking about. So they're not above the law.
It's a sovereign entity. It's another country, so most definitely you want to go through the process.
Okay.
But we're talking about Canada in this particular discourse, and that the person that one of the side of the federal government that fled was, I think it's Ribadu, the former EFCC chairman, currently the chief security advisor to the president, and so he was displeased with the action of Canada denying visas to Nigerians and service chiefs, and he didn't even hold his reservation. He was
out about it, because he felt he was disrespectful in all shades.
It was. It was for diplomatic ties and that of security, exchange of information.
That bilateral relationship in which we have is just unfortunate that
you don't deny service chief.
No, you don't at all.
If it is for military need and for
exactly for security, exactly.
Be able to look at ways to be flexible with that the arrangement in such a way. Nigerians won't do that to Canada. I don't.
No, you would not. So that's the thing about that. We might be going through some things right now which will definitely pass and become better. But have you noticed that Nigerians are very open when it comes to reception? We receive people with so much care, love, and all of that. So the next that caught my eye is Yahoo boys are now involved in ritual killings, banditry, says EFCC chair. Am I surprised at this? But it's a very unhealthy story there, because that's what we see a lot of these individuals, youths that just want the fast lane when it comes to money, and some will blame it on the economy, some will blame it on unemployment, some will blame it on this is where we are, since we can't jack but you're holding us here, this is where, but that's not the answer really. It's just unfortunate. But the fact that they were able to detect that and to look sternly and know that some of these individuals who are really think it's just silent, it is not just, it's a crime on its own, because these individuals defraud people of their hard-earned money. And now they've gone into this. Now when it comes to ritual killings, innocent lives have been lost through ritual killings. You can see on the internet some very goring videos that you see of young girls being beheaded because of some of these boys who lure them with so much money at the same time, which is very sad. People will say the girls there, but if you cannot afford something, well, but that's what it is.
It's a sad story.
It's a really sad story, but I'm glad they're going to nip this in the bud, and we now know that Yahoo boys are involved in this very heinous act. And of course, Gladys, you'll be taking us through the next paper.
Let's get straight to it right away, to the Daily Trust newspaper. There we have the National Assembly passes 54.99 trillion 2025 budgets. Also, you've taken that story right in the Punch.
Yes, I have.
Also, we have the Southwest governors to establish joint security surveillance team, and also we've seen that also in the Punch newspaper. Then we have the UTME candidate parents and candidates express frustration at registration center. That's quite interesting. The start story here says Ribadu tackles Canada for denying CDS orders visa, and also beneath it we have we will state our position embassy. Now when we get down on that paper, without see Lassa fever kills 70 people in 1 month. Now okay, so down again we have the minimum wage workers shot FCT Schools Council Secretariat. That's quite interesting. And also they have a rider here that says that we must get communities to defend themselves, DSSDG. We also have here Yobe photographer breaks Guinness World Record. Now for me the story that caught my attention here is that of basically to the parents airing their displeasure over the UTME registration and that of the DSS. We must get more communities to defend themselves. Now when I saw that when I first read that story, I thought at first it wasn't coming from the DSS, so I had to go and do a study on that. When I was wondering, why would the DSS want to come out with that particular statement that we must get communities to defend themselves? That's not right. The job of the government has been saddled with responsibility of protecting lives and properties of the citizens. Now telling communities to begin to defend themselves can lead us back to a state of anarchy, and this will take us back to the state of nature. And in that state of nature, for most political scientists, they would say that life was nasty, it was brutish, it was short, and it was poor, because inhumanities of man will begin to play out. This is why we surrender our will to the Leviathan, which we call the government, hoping that the government will be saddled with that responsibility of discharging our will and implementing those will. And part of those functions as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution is the protection of our lives and properties. But if that is not happening, then the DSS is automatically telling us that the security agencies have failed Nigerians. So Nigerians should start doing the needful by protecting themselves, because such riders saying that communities must defend themselves, it's not right in its essence. We shouldn't be having that conversation at all as a country.
No, we shouldn't.
Imagine the way other countries perceive us. Investors begin to perceive you when you start telling yourself, hey, you guys need to start protecting yourself.
That means you want us to go carry arms.
Most definitely.
How? I don't even know how this should have gone. So how do you expect me to defend myself? I'm talking about the DSS. The news about you have to come up with a first class before you can the DSS. Are you kidding me? Right? Is it everyone that has that
joke of the century?
That's the joke of the century. But let's just see how well this is going to play out. Oh my God!
The one thing also expressing frustrations over registrations, frustration at registration centers for JAMB exam.
It could be very annoying. I'll tell you for free. It could be very, not just parents, but on the child. It takes a toll. You keep going back and forth when it comes to this sort of registrations, especially when they tell you there's no network. I have family friends who have told you they keep doing the name doesn't tally. It's either one thing or the other. It's very frustrating, believe me. So I don't blame parents at all.
We need to talk to Oliede to see what's
exactly what is going on really.
But if JAMB cannot go digital,
let's return back to manual. It was easier. It was simple. Like really, it was seamless.
You took it.
You just take it.
You're good to go.
You're good to go. But the thing is, I think we still have a long way to go when it comes to putting all of these things in place. But slowly and steady, I think it's better. You don't have to, because other people are involved in issues like this. We have to, and you destabilize individuals. Let's just start it small. If it's not going to work out, we can just start, and later on, you know how it is. But it's really frustrating. I will tell you for free.
It is.
It's very frustrating.
Alright, so let's move on to the next story.
And the next paper is the Vanguard newspaper, and above the nameplate says Oyetola reaffirms commitment to marine resource department, and it says National Assembly passes 54.9 trillion naira 2025 budget, which we've read on all papers, so far 2 papers. And here it says visa denial, Canada can go to hell, Ribado defense chief. Well, But if you look at it, it's a plus for Canada to have the French chiefs coming over to their country. It's a plus. It's part of that, like I mentioned, bilateral relationship. For this to happen, I wonder what it is, but it's going to get back to us.
So the foul language of go to hell, that really caught my attention.
It means it's very simple. Go to hell is very simple. Canada,
education.
But the truth of the matter is that Canada is an upcoming country. It's just Japan is what has made Canada popular. The truth. I mean, from now, did you hear anything about Canada? We've always known Canada is there. It has affiliation with the US and all of that. But Japan is the one that has made Canada popular because of places like Ontario and all of these places that most Nigerians run to. That was what actually made Canada popular. There's no special effect. It's just if our country was doing well economically, if our economy was stable, employment, health, education, what's our business with Canada? Really? We talk about other countries like the United States of America here. We talk about the United Kingdom. We talk about China. Nobody even bring up Canada. It's just this job that has made them popular. So I do not understand.
It is what it is right now.
It is what it is right now. It is. But it means that when you take this kind of thing very seriously, it's okay, it's fine.
You need to ask Ribadu where is the destination of hell. You don't say Canada should go to hell. You need to ask.
Exactly. Okay, but at the same time, supporting
for a public official, I think that's unhealthy.
It's very unhealthy. But at the same time, we need to support our service children. We will not allow them to be embarrassed. These are people who put their lives on the line for security when it comes to what we're facing in this country. So for that kind of ridicule, I think it's sad. We won't take it.
But there should be better modalities.
Exactly. There's only
address this issue.
But let me
out to flare. They should go to.
I know, but at the same time, so that
I see the president is saying Canada should go to hell at this point.
But it is what it is. But the truth of the matter is, the servitude will know that we are right behind them because we support. I know what they do when it comes to fighting insurgency. Believe me, it's not easy to put men in the war front. These are fathers, and most of these troops, they die. There are some that have not even seen their children for months, years, and you think you embarrass our service chiefs and go scot-free? As well, he said in his words, he says go to hell. Well, that is it. It is what it is. Now, below the nameplate of the Vanguard newspaper, it says banks limiting ATM withdrawal below 20,000 naira face CBN penalty. So banks limiting ATM withdrawal below 20,000 naira face CBN. And you see, then you go to some banks, they tell you can only withdraw 10,000 from the ATM. So now with this, I think it's a step forward. I think we should face that penalty because there are so many charges when it comes to banks, when it comes to withdrawals, when it comes to maintenance. We see lots of charges. So just do the needful and give me value for money. I was discussing with our colleagues the other day. Do you know so many people just revert back to the point of sale? No one even goes to, because I know that when I go to the ATM machine, I cannot get 200,000 naira, and when I go to the point of sale individual there, I can get as much as 200, and I can actually walk. I'm looking. You can get as 500.
When I saw the ATM, I was wondering if ATM
still exists because point of sale has practically taken over. Someone's telling me that bankers now actually invest in that sort of business in order to get.
Is it sad truth?
Is this because I know someone, you buy money to get money, and Nigerians are not. That is it. But you know the extortion behind all of that. People need to sit down and understand that it is extortion of the highest. When you have to pay as much as sometimes 14,000 naira to get 100,000 naira, it's really, really sad. I mentioned it the other day that 30,000 naira, was it 1,000 I paid? To get it? Yes, at a point. So the extortion, so banks should do the needful. I think the penalty, it's important. They should be penalized for it.
Not paper penalization.
Not paper, but action. Close it down.
In the country.
Close it down. I know.
Say that we'll penalize this particular institutions and that's where it starts and ends.
Exactly. And let me just quickly read the rider. It says any bank that compels a customer with sufficient funds in his or her account to withdraw less than 20,000 naira per transaction against the customer's desire for a higher sum will be contravening the regulations spirit and sanctioned appropriately, CBN circular. And here it says Telkom's MTN backpedals, reverses 200% data tariff hike. When I saw, MTN went ahead without, it's just like this is what it is, no law in this country.
But they got a lot from NCC.
I know, but it was already, didn't it affect you in any way?
It did to a very large extent.
A very large extent, that they went ahead without that authorization. They just went ahead like, there's nothing there, it's Nigeria, anything goes.
The NCC Act has given the permission to do that.
Before it did.
The section of that particular act have already given them a go-ahead.
Before it did.
It could not be 50%.
Yes, but they went ahead to increase it by 200%. Are you kidding me? But I'm going to get a number on the head.
On 50%.
It's really high.
Looking at the hike in other tariffs, and you go 200%. But it's fair. This one, I think it is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, now Senate asks federal government to repair bad roads nationwide, and you can find that read on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. An influx of ISWA, Boko Haram, Southwest governors among creation of joint security outfit. Okay, and it says loan controversy on Masai goes to court to clear name. And in the world of sports, that's Godwin, that's your forte there, and you can find that on page 39. It says 2025 under 20 AFCON Flying Eagles in group of death. Okay, and Senate asks, okay, we've read that, and on the Vanguard, the story that caught my eye is Senate asks federal government to repair bad roads nationwide. It's very important, it's alright.
Particularly the Northwest.
Particularly the Northwest is bad. Like the roads are bad, people have a lot of complaints, and it's not even safe. And then I think it will reduce the high rate of accidents that we get. This, high rate of accident, because the roads are a contributing factor. Aside the drivers, not all. There's some drivers who are very careful, but there are some who are very negligent. I saw a video about a driver who was actually drunk. I was driving videos that almost killed them twice, and he had to come back. She took a video that please avoid this particular transportation. They gave them a drug, and the guy was saying he was just telling them that they should cross a line. It cracked me up so much, but it's just unfortunate people actually play with their lives. So as much as the drivers, some are negligent, but the road is a contributing factor. So please, all roads, really.
Since we're not ready to have that conversation around some of the train system, like the world is talking about going or other means of transportation, open the waterways,
like railways,
cars,
really
towns together. Let's begin to talk about other means of transportation.
I think that conversation. I think that's another conversation. We're not done with the CNG yet. We're not looking at the convert. Do you know how much it is to convert a car from petrol to CNG? It's a lot. It's better to just imagine it and let's just take the road by the horn and all of that. But really, it's something it's a cause for where a lot of people have died due to bad roads. The potholes, they are deep. It's bad, really. So that's another conversation. Hopefully I'm here to it today. And then of course the next paper is The Nation, and Godwin, you'll be running us through.
All right. So on the top of the paper we have alleged 6 billion fraud, or today call fails to appear in court. Okay, so that's then we have also that's ex-FBN MDO Onasoya in court for defense. Then that you can find that in page 4 of the Nation's newspaper. You can take a read. Then we have Edo Tribunal 5 address for March. Okay, Edo Tribunal fixes addresses for March the 3rd. You can find that in page 6 of the Nation's newspaper. And also National Assembly passes, I think that's on every paper this morning, 54.99 trillion 2025 budget estimate. And the star story here says Southwest governors join forces to ward off ISWAP bandits. And we have the rider here say joint surveillance technology boost for Amotekun, creation of food hub in each state to bring down prices. Then also we have also the CBN to banks. Don't limit ATM withdrawals. We've just taken that story right now. But then you can find that story on page 7 of the Nation's newspaper. Then lastly, on that paper, we have Ayawo at his PDP desk. Whatever is going on in PDP right now really calls for concern. But the story for me here is that the Southwest governors joined forces to ward off ISWAP and bandits. So we've seen the Southwest coming back again to form more, improve the strength of Amotekun.
The alliance,
it has been like a security agency in the West. They are coming up again to empower the Amotekun to be able to ward off ISWAP and bandits and a form of insecurity and insurgency within the Southwest. So that's what I like about the Southwest governors, and that is a fact that a lot of Southwest governors are very proactive.
Very proactive.
We give it to them. The Southwest governors are very proactive. And the rate of insurgency and banditry and kidnappings in the Southwest is, even it's similarly small, it is low.
Yeah, compared to the north.
Or to the north and to the east.
Yes, exactly.
If you compare, if you look at the figures, try to go back to statistics and look at it, you say, okay, we don't really have much of security, turbulent security situations in the south.
But it is there because it has been beginning to curb. They're curbing it.
Basically, so it's a silent war. So it is low. The percentage.
Yes, very true.
With a scale of 1 to 100, we say it's above 70. So rather we say it's below 70.
Very true.
It's low in the Southwest. But looking at the Southwest governors coming together, say, hey, we want to put up a cocoa farm to ensure that the people of the Southwest are able to feed themselves and be able to generate certain income. Now, this is a plus for the Southwest.
Yes, it is.
We're looking at a regional way of empowering the people. Not just this takes us back to regionalism, where I think I really will try to do a similar thing when you're trying to empower the western part of Nigeria. Now the Southwest governors come together, sit down, look at what they can do for their people collectively, not individual. The states can go solo, but then as a South, as a region, what can we do for our people? What is the basics that our people need? They are addressing security issues. They are addressing the issues around from food, and also food securities and all of those. So if you give the Southwest another 5 years from today, we'll be seeing a big transformation that will be leading in the forefront of development when it has to do with Nigeria.
And talking about the Southwest governors, for me, I like the fact that they understand the needs of the people. We know that we're dealing with security. It's not just like, when we heard of Boko Haram, we were like, well, it's just in the north, what's our business? But you see what is happening, kidnapping everywhere, from Ondo, Ogun, everywhere. And I like the fact that these governors have sat down and realized that, okay, we need to understand that people, they trust us to put us here.
Yeah.
We are for the people. So we understand that this is where the need is when it comes to security, lives and properties, because God forbid, if anything happens, it falls back on us. You see, that's the thing. People don't understand. When you're in power, when anything happens, it will fall back on you, whether negative or positive. So they understand that, hey, we need to try as much as possible to curb this, not as an entity, but together. That collaboration is there so that we can find a quick solution. And for me, they're not doing badly at all. They are doing fantastic. I don't know them, I don't work for them, I'm not part of them, but I've read about them, I've seen how they have tried and managed to curb insecurity in those particular regions, and it is amazing. For these governments to come together, it just shows that they are working. And like you mentioned, Godwin, in 5 years from now, we will be surprised the sort of wave they will make. For me, excellent when it comes to security and when it comes to food, because that is the plight of Nigeria. I want to be safe when I sleep at night. And individuals in that particular region, they have lots of forests and all of that. They can vegetations in which they can farm and all of that. So for them to come together to fight and curb this menace, which is food and insecurity, I think it will go a long way when it comes to that.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. And then, okay, is there more on the other paper?
Let's just move on to this day newspaper.
Okay, this day newspaper, it's says here, again, above the nameplate of this day newspaper, it says, GHL explains how First Bank failed to meet obligations after benefit. And the kicker there says, insists it's 50-50 profit share project finance with momentum, not commercial loan. And here it says Donald Trump moves to revoke Joe Biden's security clearance. And below the nameplate of this day newspaper, it says INEC, almost 2 years after 2023 elections, electoral offenses cases still pending before court. You see, that's what we get to. We get to a point whereby in Nigeria we can just say, okay, fine, I'm not going to court. He won. Let's move forward. I think that is a big thing. Where I just have to question who won or not. I think we'll move forward. We'll have less of all these pending cases from 2013, all of that.
But that will also sponsor electoral fraud.
But at the same time, see, everyone cannot win. It's everyone. There's time and scenes for everything.
You can prove that. You can prove beyond reasonable doubt.
But it's you don't understand that. It's a long process. I mean, I think it's a long process.
If you know,
it takes too long, and that's why we have long pending cases. See, almost 2 years after 2023. That's like 2021, and then we've moved past around 2025. Really, it's a long time. I think we should just accept defeat and move forward.
So you're advising people that have legitimate claims to just give up on their claims.
Okay, now where has it gotten them?
They're still in court.
Okay.
Justice will be served.
Well, for those who are still hopeful on all of that, well, if it works for you, but I just feel it's some cases are just there and they will just die there. It will just be pending. But similarly, we don't understand that there are lots of corruption that goes in and out. That is where we are right now in the country. A lot of things. People will actually want to close down that case, or you just be there. You just false hope. Like, I hate false hope. Let's just come out and be plain about it when it comes to issues like this. That's why it's still pending. I think when we do the right thing, election should not be rigged in Nigeria. We should everyone.
If that's what you are soliciting for is giving approval and it's put into consideration, we have a situation where now people, you can perverse the system, knowing fully well that your contender, the party B will not say a word. So automatically you will not drive Nigerian back to a one-party state, because you will not be able to question the process, electoral processes. You won't be able to question a lot of scenarios that plays out even during the pre-election, the election, and the post-election.
And that is why electoral bodies should be transparent. If there's transparency from the beginning, you won't go through all of this. I'm telling you, Godwin, if there's transparency from the beginning, we all see that it is transparent. No one will have time to go to court to appeal and say all of it, because there's no transparency. And that's why people still appeal and say, it's not right, I'm supposed to be this, I'm supposed to be that, because there's no transparency.
In Nigeria, even if there's transparency, people will still go to court.
Well, I think that's why we need to get to a point where once there is transparency, people won't tell, what are you going to court for? It's there, it's clear. You don't need to. The evidence are already there showing. Once there is transparency and you carry individuals along, I think we can get to that. Go to the US. There's so many countries who act on that. There's so much transparency. You don't see people going in and out of court every single time, dragging this and dragging that, pending here. Please, we have better things to think about. People are hungry. We're thinking about all of these things. People are thinking about so many issues.
Well, I'll talk to them, Juma.
You talk to them, really?
To them.
Okay.
Just tell them to send later. I'll talk to them.
That's a joke. Alright, let's move on now. And it says now, Solido, that's the South story now. So Solido were bent on cleansing Anambra State of criminals. Okay, and it says confirms the arrest of killers of lawmaker gives account of fight against insecurity. Law condemns gruesome murder. Unfortunately, that lawmaker that was killed But I'm glad with the cause of the individuals behind it, and I believe that by the grace of God, the Cleveland and Anambra State, it will be real, and so it will come and stay.
And this tells a lot about our law enforcement agents.
It tells a lot, yes, that they are active. So they might not be perfect. Like I always say, no one is perfect. They might have their loopholes, their lapses, but at least we see that those who are upright are working. Those who will not compromise, because they realize that it has to do with lives, it has to do with property, it has to do with individuals, families. You know, that particular lawmaker, he must have been, he is, I'm sure, maybe the breadwinner, someone's husband, father. Life is important. Even if it's just one, it's very precious. It's important. So once we understand that and we do not compromise, there's some law enforcement who are very apt when it comes to, no, the right thing must be done. So kudos to our law enforcement agencies, kudos, at least kudos, and I believe that Anambra will be cleansed of all of these criminals. Yes.
Because Soludo is bent on.
No, it's hell bent. I don't want to say, but he is
bent on getting this done.
Yes, exactly.
The kind of person Soludo is. He will set his mind on something.
He will accomplish. Exactly. And that lawmaker, condolences to the family. It was a very gruesome murder, unfortunate incident that happened there. I wonder what were some of the so many what ifs, but at the same time, I'm glad that they were found and they were captured, the killers, and they will face the wrath of the law. And then I think that's the size of the newspaper review. Yes, on Good Morning. And up next is the AM News. Do not go anywhere. The program continues shortly. Stay tuned.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. Now the news info. President Bola Tinubu has commended Google Chief Executive Officer Sundar Pichai for the interest of the company in advancing artificial intelligence and digital transformation in Nigeria. The president disclosed this when he met with the Google team in Paris in company of Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani. The collaboration seeks to position Nigeria as a prominent technology and innovation hub, leveraging AI, cloud computing and digital infrastructure to foster economic growth and enhance global competitiveness. In a different development, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Bishop Francis Wale Oke on his re-election as the national president of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN. This was contained in a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. Oke, who founded Sword of the Spirit Ministries International in 1983, was re-elected during the 18th Biennial National Conference of the PFN held in Abuja. The National Coordinator of National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Adamu Laka, says violent extremism remains one of the most complex security challenges that threatens Nigeria's national security. Laka stated this at the opening of the workshop and validation meeting on prevention and catering violent extremism guidelines and strategic communication plan in Abuja. The Defense correspondent Kike Lomo Okere tells us more.
The National Coordinator of National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Adamu Laka, says violent extremism had threatened the very fabric of Nigerian communities, institutions, and social cohesion. Laka says the workshop is aimed at highlighting unified determination to enhance the nation's capacity to counter violent extremism and to ensure the seamless implementation of preventing and countering violent extremism guidelines and strategies at every level of governance. He says the federal government of Nigeria had developed the policy framework and national action plans for PCVE.
A policy is only as effective as its implementation, and that is why we are gathered here today to ensure that we take deliberate and strategic steps towards localizing and operationalizing this framework. Over the course of these 2 days, we will focus on two critical components that are central to the success of preventing and countering violent extremism efforts in Nigeria.
The Director, PCVE at NCTC, Ambassador Mairo Musa, says the main objective of the workshop was centered around enhancing the understanding of the policy framework on preventing and countering violent extremism and facilitating its localization at institutional, state, and community levels. She added that effective implementation requires domestication, ownership, integration with existing government agencies and security structure, adding that it is also to foster cross-sectional collaboration and information sharing, strengthening multi-sector stakeholder synergy in PCV implementation.
Also to assess and to refine and validate the strategic communication plan, ensuring that it aligns with the evolving security landscape and leverages effective messaging to counter extremist narratives and promote peace-building efforts.
It is expected that the outcome will strengthen understanding of the PCV PFNAP among NDAs at the state, institutions and other stakeholders with clear strategies for its localization and institutionalization. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
Thank you, Kike, for that report. The Nigerian Police Force has dismissed recent reports alleging that 3,907 firearms are missing from its armories, stating that the claims are misleading and do not reflect the reality of the situation. Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi emphasized that the allegations stemmed from a 2019 audit report by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation and do not indicate an actual disappearance of arms. Director General of Department of State Services, Mr. Oluwatosin Ajayi, has called for a policy mandating the recruitment of first-class graduates into the intelligence agency to strengthen national security. Ajayi made this call while delivering the 2025 Distinguished Personality Lecture at the Center for Peace and Strategic Studies, University of Ilorin, Kwara State. Ajayi emphasized the need for paradigm shift in recruitment and staffing within security agencies to ensure only the best minds are enlisted. Pro-North Socio-Political Organization Iowa Consultative Forum and some prominent voices from the northern region of the country have said the region cannot be forced to re-elect President Bola Tinubu in 2027. The Iowa Consultative Forum and other northern leaders declared that no individual could claim to be the mouthpiece of the North, and as such it was wrong for the chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, to ask the North to wait till 2031 before vying for the presidency. It spoke against the backdrop of Ganduje's warning to northern politicians nursing presidential ambition in 2027 to bury the idea, vowing that Tinubu will compete 2 terms in office. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo says with the state's robust collaboration with the federal government, the state is on course to become the envy of other states. The governor made this declaration when he received the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatosin Madane, who was on a courtesy visit to the government house in Benin City. Okpebolo further stated that Edo State has experienced a lot of developmental strides under President Bola Tinubu's administration, describing Edo as the president's adopted state. The Nigerian police force have been interrogated by the Senate over alleged missing 3,907 assault rifles as contained in the 2019 audit report by the Office of Auditor General of the Federation. This was as Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun tendered apologies to the Senate Committee on Public Accounts for not honoring previous invitations sent to him for explanations on queries issued to the police regarding alleged financial infractions in the 2019 audit report. Kikelomo Okere tells us more.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, took the oath and nominated Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Public Accounts and Budget, AIG Suleiman Abdul, to answer to the 8 queries issued against the police by the Office of the Auditor General. According to Olu Samuel Godwin, a review of the Arms Movement Register, monthly return of the arms and ammunition, and the ammunition register at the Police Armory Review alarming discrepancies.
15 training institutions. Total number of missing ammunition 601 not reported was the remarks. 23 formations, 42 missing items not reported. Number 3, 37 police commands, 1,514 not reported. 4, zone 1 to 12, 29 not reported. 5, PMF 1 to 68, 1,721 missing items, no reported was the remark, and the source was extract from schedules of returns of arms and loss of arms as at January 2020.
The lawmakers criticized the police for failing to trace the missing weapon and apprehend those responsible. Concerns were raised that these firearms may have fallen into wrong hands, worsening the country's security crisis.
If 3,900 firearms, mainly AK-47 and other rifles, are in the hands of enemies, that tells you that we are not safe. Even the police is not safe. So we need a proper explanation to this, so that we can move this country forward.
Meanwhile, Senator Adams Oshiomhole shared a personal experience in the assassination of his aide, highlighting the real-life consequences of missing firearms.
The rules of engagement, the police are charged to the governor. When the governor is traveling, they should give permission before they travel. Those attached to me regularly tells me that they want to regularize their booking, not only the booking of the arms, but also from time to time that they are where they are supposed to be. And sometimes your officers come to check if they are still with you, in case they may have left without reporting. To make the assumption you are made to insult the intelligence of the police.
I'm telling you.
When you suggest to us that if an officer move from Benin on official escort duty to which you officially are legally assigned him, that you will presume his weapon is no longer with him.
In response, AIG Suleiman Abdul was only able to account for 15 out of 3,907 missing assault rifles, 14 of which, according to him, were lost through 14 personnel killed in active service and one in 1998.
Signals were sent to the Affairs Commission to produce comprehensive investigation report on the loss of the said ammunition and on the firearms and ammunition, as well as complete treasury from 146 for audit attachment in pages 219 to 224.
For a soft landing, the committee later resolved that the AIG and his team should go and tidy up their response to query, as it will never be swept under the carpet. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Imo State Police Command says it is taking significant strides in enhancing security by organizing capacity building training for its personnel. This initiative, in line with the directive of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, aims to improve operational efficiency and strengthen officers' response to emerging security threats. The report.
At the Mobile Police 18 headquarters in Owerri, the state capital, officers from various divisions and formations gathered for an intensive training session focused on modern policing strategies. Declaring the training open on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, Imo State's Commissioner of Police, CP Aboki Danjuma, explained that the training is designed to sharpen officers' professional skills, improve intelligence gathering, and enhance community engagement for better crime prevention.
Selected the best from all formations. If we are here, we selected no less than 5 from East divisions and from each area commands and tactical teams. And I believe people have started since yesterday. And I'm going to declare this training upon on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun.
CP Danjuma reminded the officers that their primary responsibilities is to protect the lives and properties of the people, admonishing them to maintain professionalism while discharging their duties.
When are you justified to use your firearms? Please, if you don't live here, know when to justify your firearms. These firearms, you are not going to use it on innocent citizens. You are going to use it to defend the innocent citizens. We witnessed so many attacks on divisions. That is why we call for this training. And after this training, as I said, we are carrying the fight to the insurgency in their hideouts.
As security challenges evolve, Imo State Police Command has restated its commitment to equipping its personnel with the necessary skills to keep the state safe. With this training, the command is confident that policing will improve and community trust strengthened. In Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Amarachi, for that report. You're watching the live broadcast of AM News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When AM News returns, federal government signs new deal to revive Trans-Saharan gas pipeline. We'll have those details from the world of business as well as more stories from foreign and sports segments for you. Please stay with us. welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is AM News on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the federal government has signed agreements with Algeria and Niger to push forward the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project, which aims to boost gas exports to Europe. Officials from the three countries formalized the agreement during a meeting in Algiers, the capital of Algeria. Dada Olusegun, President Bola Tinubu's special assistant on social media, said the agreement involved energy firms from Nigeria, Algeria, and Niger. The Lagos State Waterways Authority says its Omi Eco water transport project will gob 410 million euros. The general manager of the authority, Oluwadamilola Emmanuel, said this in a statement made available to News Agency of Nigeria in Lagos. Emmanuel said the project to be financed largely via the Global Gateway initiatives with the support of the French Development Agency, the European Union, and European Investment Bank. The controller of Ogun and One Area Command Nigeria Customs Service, Idiroko Mohammed Shaibu, has underscored the importance of streamless cross-border trade in driving sustainable economic growth and national prosperity. Shaibu made the call while speaking at the 4th Art of Economic Development Festival held in Idiroko, Ipekia local government area of Ogun State. The statement released by the customs boss noted that the theme of the festival, cross-border trade, what it is and why it matters, highlights the crucial role of trade in fostering relationships, enhancing cultural exchanges, and promoting mutual understanding among diverse communities. Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals says it has reduced the cost of diesel to 1,020 naira per litre, down from 1,075 naira per litre at the then trade price. It was a statement the company said the reduction was to better serve its customers and Nigerians in general. Recall that when it began diesel production in January 2024, the refinery reduced the price of diesel more than 3 times from an initial 1,700 naira per litre to 1,000 naira. On the foreign stories now, Sudan says a final deal has been agreed with Russia to establish a naval base on the water-torn country's Red Sea coast, saying there are no obstacles to it. An agreement was discussed under former President Omar al-Bashir, but the military government that overthrew him had earlier said the matter was under review. Sudan's Foreign Minister Ali Yusuf stated that a deal had been signed and they are in complete agreement with Russia over the establishment of the port, indicating that what remains was only the ratification of the deal. Over now to U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has filed a lawsuit against New York on Wednesday, accusing the Democratic ruled state of hindering federal efforts to crack down on undocumented migrants. The legal action comes a week after the Justice Department issued a so-called sanctuary city, Chicago, and the Midwestern state of Illinois on similar grounds. We sued Illinois and New York didn't listen, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said at a press conference. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens stops today. A Quebec man had been fined $35,000 for violating 2 Canadian environmental laws after a fuel spill at Dover resulted in significant contamination of local waterways. The Court of Quebec ordered the fine after Daniel Jaira, a transport company driver, pleaded guilty to violations of both the Fisheries Act and the Canadian Environmental Protection Act 1999. The penalty will be directed to the Government of Canada's Environmental Damages Fund, which supports projects aimed at restoring and protecting Canada's environment. United States-based Nigerian tennis prodigy Christopher Bulus has won his first senior national title after defeating Daniel Adeleye in the men's single final at the 2025 Ren-Or National Tennis Open in Lagos. Bulus, who flew into the country from South Africa, where he represented Nigeria at the Davis Cup, was a clear favorite to win the competition despite not having a national ranking. Apart from winning a born tennis youngster, also went home with a 2 million naira prize money for the men's singles winner. State and Sports Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo says sitting of the Federal University of Sports in the state will provide a platform for cutting-edge research, innovation, and the development of highly skilled graduates who will contribute meaningfully to our society. While commending President Bola Tinubu for signing into law the bill establishing the university, he expressed confidence that the institution will quickly become a center of academic excellence, attracting students and scholars from across the country and beyond. The governor said that the landmark decision marks a significant milestone in the state's commitment to expanding access to quality higher education and fostering intellectual growth. Colin Moore had been appointed head coach of the New Orleans Saints 2 days after helping the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl as offensive coordinator. Moore succeeds Dennis Allen, who was sacked in November after the Saints suffered 7 successive defeats, with Darren Rizzi taking interim charges until the end of the season. Moore says he is excited to join the New Orleans Saints and deeply appreciates the faith that Benson and the entire Saints organization have placed in him. More alcohol will be allowed at the 2034 World Cup in Saudi Arabia, says the country's ambassador to the United Kingdom. In an interview on LBC, Prince Khalid bin Bandar Al Saud said alcohol would not be sold anywhere during the tournament, including hotels. FIFA confirmed Saudi Arabia would host the Men's World Cup in 2034. Still in Saudi Arabia, the ambassador to the United Kingdom says no alcohol will be allowed at the 2034 World Cup. In an interview on LBC, Prince Khalid bin Bandar Al Saud said alcohol will not be sold anywhere during the tournament. As we end the Global TV News AM News, let's take a quick look at our top stories again. We brought to you that President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Bishop Francis Wale Oke on his re-election as the national president of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN. In business, we brought to you that the Lagos State Waterways Authority says its Omi Eko water transfer project will go up 410 million euros. On our foreign story, U.S. President Donald Trump administration has filed a lawsuit against New York on Wednesday, accusing the democratic-ruled state of hindering federal efforts to crack down on documented migrants. In sports, Saudi Arabia ambassador to United Kingdom says no alcohol will be allowed at the 2034 World Cup. And that's it on Global Television AM News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nicomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now shown on your screen by using Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Yes, the issues around medical tourism has been a crucial issue to handle across the world, but more especially in Nigeria. Scholars have tended to have divergent opinions about what medical tourism is and what it ought to be. Health facilitators are not even left in the definition challenge and the clarification of the scope of medical tourism. It's to this end that we will be looking at medical tourism in Nigeria, trying to have an overview of medical tourism as it implies in Nigeria. And joining me in this conversation is Isa Usman, who is a global medical tourist developer. And we'll be talking this morning on the impact of medical tourism on health entrepreneurship. But first, let me welcome you to Global Morning, Mr. Isa Usman.
Good morning, my brother, Mr. Godwin.
All right, so by way of definition, please can you enlighten us on what medical tourism is all about?
Yeah, to start with, medical tourism is like a new thing in Nigeria, but although it's an household name, but many people have heard of it, but they don't really know the real concept of it, because the reason why I say so is it's not far-fetched. If you ask many Nigerians or Africans about medical tourism, I mean their understanding about medical tourism, they'll simply say medical tourism is all about traveling abroad for medical treatments. But to my own understanding, medical tourism simply means traveling from where one is residing or where one is living to another location in the quest for quality medical treatments. And it also means traveling from less developed city to well-developed city, or from well-developed city to less developed city for quality medical treatments.
All right. So, invariably, can this be local or it has to be foreign?
Yeah, medical tourism is all encompassing. What I mean, medical tourism is all encompassing is that it's involved intra-band, which is also known as domestic medical tourism. Okay. And domestic medical tourism has to do with traveling within the country one is residing in the quest for quality medical treatment. It may be from one local government to another or from one state to another. Then we have inbound medical tourism, means people coming from their own destination. For example, people coming from Kenya, from Togo, from Mali, from US to Nigeria for treatment. To us is an inbound patient. We are receiving that as inbound patient. Then we have outbound medical tourism, which has to do with traveling abroad for medical treatment, which is a household name in Nigeria. Because Nigerians and Africa know medical tourism as traveling abroad. So that is why we are here at this moment to correct the impression. Because if you go online searching for what is medical tourism, 99 definition of that will pop out is medical tourism all about traveling abroad for medical treatments. But if you want to know the real meaning or definition of medical tourism, is to know what is tourism itself. And tourism means traveling from where one is residing or where one is living to another destination or another location, either within the country or outside the country for whatever purpose. It may be for sightseeing, it may be for leisure tourism, it may be for business tourism, it may be for educational tour, and the rest.
All right, so basically, you understand that the word tourism has to do with business in itself, and health, on the other hand, has to do with a voluntary service which people give and get, not necessarily attaching some form of payments to it. We now try to marry the two concepts of medical and tourism together. Tell us, is this a money-making venture? Is it a money-generating platform?
Well, when we are talking of medical tourism, what you don't know, senior, you know it's ABCD. You cannot separate tourism and health. They are inseparable, because no center that can do all. So if you refer patient, the patient needs to move, and that is where tourism came in. So patient cannot move, patient cannot be referred to a destination, and even though it's trekking or is walking to the destination, is tourism. So now when we are talking of business of health business in Nigeria is lacking health business, because I've interacted with many of our local healthcare service providers. Whenever or want to discuss with them about medical tourism, because many of them don't have the proper understanding about medical tourism. They don't always like to give listing here. Last time I met the doctor, we were interacting, and he was saying that do I know that health is not for business, that they are render essential services. And I said, sir, yeah, we are not for business, but in the facility, do you have a business development officer? Do you have a marketing department? Do you have sales department? I say yes. So what a sales department or marketing department is doing in your center while you are not doing business? What is business development or marketing department doing in your center? He was voiceless.
That's quite interesting. So the medical tourism as a field seems very new in Nigeria, and most people don't even engage in this kind of conversation, because for most people it's a strange, it's a virgin ground, and although it seems fertile like you have said. But let's look at it again from the Nigerian. How has the reception been so far of medical tourism in Nigeria?
Yeah, like I say time without number, there is serious misconception about medical tourism in Nigeria. And you cannot 100% blame them because of the definition they get from online. They don't really understand. And that is why they don't give that attention that medical tourism deserves to it. Because what you don't know, you understand, you may hate it. And there is one advice I want to give to Nigerians, especially our local healthcare service providers at this moment. They should learn, or they should develop on how to give attention to some things, because there are things you will see may be bad, but when you go close to it, you see that it's nice. Medical tourism, they don't always like to listen to. I mean, they don't like to give their attention to. They don't even know that this medical tourism is the solution, you understand, to the challenges we are facing in our health sector. Why do I say is the solution? All the countries that are doing well medically is because they embrace medical tourism. They embrace it because medical tourism is solution in actions. If it comes to any health sector, it will start addressing the challenges in the health sector one after the other. Now in Nigeria, I used to tell you that okay, in Nigeria we have one problem in our health sector that gives birth to two problems. What is the problem? The problem of the way we see, the way we look at health sector. We are looking health sector with one eye instead of looking healthcare sector with two eyes. What I mean is that we're supposed to look healthcare as a profit and not profit-making venture. Healthcare is expensive everywhere in the world, whether you like it or not. It's not only Nigeria, everywhere in the world, because most of the equipment, sophisticated equipment, cutting-edge technology, they are very expensive everywhere in the world. So you cannot compromise with it. So as soon as we start seeing healthcare as a profit-making and not profit-making, because government should look healthcare as a not profit-making venture, and that's what is happening in India, in Turkey, in Thailand, in Singapore, in Mexico, in Ukraine, in Jordan, and other top-ranking medical tourism destinations, because they are seeing healthcare as a profit and not profit-making venture. Okay, now what are the two problems that I'm talking about? The problem within the health sector and the problem outside the health sector. And for us to embrace medical tourism and for medical tourism to work in Nigeria, government should be ready, you understand, to provide solution to problem outside the health sector, which is the problem of elderly environment. Government should give a platform to our local healthcare service providers to perform. After giving them, then the next one is to give a platform to be announced, for healthcare to be announced. Then we are good to go.
All right, Mr. Issa Usman.
So now, I talk about the problem outside the health sector. Then the problem within the health sector, the solution to the problem is medical tourism. It's for us embracing medical tourism. And medical tourism will tackle all these problems I'm going to list for us. There's the problem of availability of treatments, affordability of treatment, accessibility of treatment, acceptability of treatment, poor success rate, trust, attitude of medical personnel towards patient, medical negligence, medical malpractice, and medication errors. So this is what, and also healthcare workers migration. These are the problem embracing of medical tourism will come to tackle for us. But government should provide enabling environment. It should give a platform to our local healthcare service providers to perform, because we have good healthcare service providers in Nigeria. We have many private hospitals doing well in Nigeria, but because most of the policies is unfavorable to them, and government should provide a policy that will favor healthcare service providers, healthcare seekers, and healthcare facilitators.
All right, so we'll come back to this level of healthcare facilitators. Now, there's been this argument that it is due to the fact that the practitioners of medical tourism, they are less systematic with their approach to delve into issues. They're not systematic in their approach, just like you have the scientific ways of dealing with things. So most medical tourists are not systematic in any form. So this is one of the reasons why they don't like facilitators, yeah. Those who have medical tourists. Okay, which are the healthcare seekers. Okay, so let's use the facilitators. The facilitators are the people in business healthcare that stands at intermediary between the healthcare seekers and so the facilitators have not been to a very large extent systematic with their approach. That's why even the government is not taking them serious, and even the medical field are not taking them serious. And this is why we're having less recognition of medical tourism in Nigeria. Please, can you throw light on this?
Yes, because in this part of the world, I mean Nigeria, you hardly find people like us. But some facilitators do come from abroad to Nigeria. But the funniest thing is that our local healthcare service providers do our jobs at times, and they are not trained for that. In medical school, they only teach them are clinicians or medical doctors, or let me use medical personnel in general. So they taught them how to treat patients. They don't teach them healthcare business, and for them trying to do our work, you understand, they may not have that language, the right language, or the informations to pass. If you go up, several times they have organized medical events that has to do with healthcare financing, healthcare investment in Nigeria, and they haven't invite people like us, either from abroad or here. If they are bringing people from abroad, they only bring medical personnel. They don't have contact of people that specialize in healthcare business. So what you don't have, you cannot give. So several times, like there's an event that took place 3 years ago in Villa, that 2023. Which has to do, it was organized by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and has to do with unveiling Nigeria health sector renewal investment initiative. People came from different countries for the event, but I followed the event from the beginning to the end, keep on praising His Excellency. Nobody has seen anything, you understand, that nobody has talk about the solution on how this investment of a thing can come in. You understand? So because they don't have this knowledge of they don't have the knowledge of medical tourism. Look at what is happening to me recently. I wrote a proposal to one of the big hospitals. I will not call the name because I'm not here to promote any healthcare service providers. You understand?
Yeah, please don't.
Yes, I don't, and I don't even have that right to do that. So when I wrote a proposal to them, he told me, young man, what you are trying, I gave him the step to restore, you understand, the lost glory of his center. You understand? Because the hospital was doing well in Nigeria. So he was saying that this proposal I brought, some people come to do, some marketers come, promoters come to do this similar thing. And I told him, sir, what I'm trying to do for him is beyond promotion. You understand? I'm out to develop, you understand, to develop health tourism, to make his center a health tourism hub in Nigeria, a medical tourism hub in Nigeria. So he said, okay, no problem, my friend, I'll call you. That he was interested quite okay, but he's trying to compare because he don't have that idea of what medical tourism entails all about.
All right. So, Mr. Usman, to a very large extent, again, medical tourism in Nigeria it's tend to be perceived as one journeying away venture, where that's caused us a lot of dilapidating structures even within our healthcare system. So people will say that it is due to the fact that more people are traveling out of the country to go and seek healthcare outside the country. That's why we are having dilapidated healthcare system in Nigeria. Could medical tourism be part of the challenge that is making our healthcare system to be dilapidated?
No. Last time during during Honorable Minister inauguration, His Excellency Professor Muhammad Ali Fati, he was saying that he's going to put an end to medical tourism. And when you are traveling in Addis Ababa, you see many healthcare seekers travel to India for medical treatments. And if you are looking for something, you understand, and you go around, or you feel you cannot get it where you are staying, you have the right to go to where what you are looking for is available to get it. You understand? So I don't see medical tourism as a problem. What I see as a problem in our health sector is our standard of care that is poor. I'm sorry to use this word, because people going out for medical tourism, either within or outside the country, they are looking for quality medical treatments. And there's the impression I'm here to clear at this moment. Many Nigerians thought that because we understand they want to collect our money, people go there to spend money. People are not going there to look for Oyibo face. You understand? It's not the white face they want to see. What they are looking for is quality treatments. That is why you see in Nigeria there are some of quality things we have that people are embracing. What is that? Like our cable wire is one of the best in the world. Our ceramic, tiles is one of the good products in the whole world. Nigerians are embracing it. You understand? Nigeria is a country that like good things, like something durable, portable, something nice, something uncommon. So we so much like good things in Nigeria. So people are not going abroad, so they should stop saying that medical tourism is that. Medical tourism is even our saving grace. It's a solution to the challenge we are facing in our health sector. So what we should do now, we should stop condemning medical tourism. We should look for strategies, you understand, to develop our own, to attract outsiders to start coming in, the way we go to India, Turkey, Egypt, United Arab Emirates, and other countries. You understand?
Let me pause you there. A lot of testimonials, a lot of people have been defrauded in this country when they say they want to travel outside the country. One way or the other, they were scammed on health grounds and for health reasons. And most of the people that have tend to scam them happen to be health facilitator like yourself. And to a very large extent, this has added to denting the image of medical tourism in Nigeria. So I want to ask you at this point in time, are medical tourists, or let's use the word as the facilitators, healthcare facilitators in Nigeria, is it largely a scam arrangement to defraud Nigerians of their hard-earned currencies?
It's not true. The issue there is that whether you like it or not, there are good people, there are bad people. But
in this industry, does the good overshadow does it outweigh the bad people? Yes. Or does the bad outweigh the good?
Yes. No, the good is more than the bad. Because if you ask these people that they were 419, you understand? If you ask them, how did they get different center defended, you understand? How do you get to know the facilitators, or how do you get to? They will tell you that they get this from online. And online, there are a lot of good things online, and there are a lot of bad things online. And one thing about computer is all about garbage in, garbage out. For example, now I'll come up now that I am the best and the most trusted facilitator, healthcare facilitators in Nigeria, and I put it online or in computer. Computer don't have that memory or don't have that power. This information is wrong, you understand? Computer will accept it. and it's about garbage in, garbage out. So if you are going to look for this information online, that okay, where is the best facilitators in Nigeria, you can even bring the wrong facilitators. It can pop out for you, and the next thing you start contacting them. That is why we are trying to form associations, a medical tourism association in Nigeria, so that if people are looking for reliable healthcare facilitators, they should be able to go through the platform. And secondly, if you are looking for something, you understand, you shouldn't be desperate, because even in India now there are some fraudulent healthcare facilitators in India. Some, like 99% of Indians now claims to be healthcare facilitators. You understand? Create website, you go online, you will be seeing the advert popping out, and that is why we always encourage our people to consult us. You understand? To contact we home-based travel consultant. For example, now something happened to you abroad, now where are you running to? But if you know that okay, it's a Nigeria home-based facilitator, of course you can hardly see home-based facilitators to do that kind of a thing. But some facilitators abroad can connive with some fake hospitals there and for Nigeria. Then when it's happening, they start generalizing the issue. You understand? And we know how to do that. And you know one thing about Nigeria, I don't know other countries, maybe it happens in other countries, bad news easily fly, easily spread. Everybody start telling the issue so that it can generate traffic for them. So I'm not doubting there are fake facilitators and there are reliable facilitators. Alright, home and abroad.
Alright, so let's take the conversation to the next level at this point. And this part has to do with the fact that the kind of money being generated from we saw here that Nigeria lost about 2.something billion on health and medical tourism just last year, and also we've seen the figures keep rising. But if we want to look at medical tourism, is it really profitable?
Sure. Because
and can we use it to boost our GDP?
Sure. So
GDP, I beg your pardon.
Yes, okay. Gross domestic products. Yeah, sure. Because like as I told you, medical tourism, when we embrace it, it will fetch. So if we embrace medical tourism in Nigeria, it will going to give us 8 benefits.
Okay.
And what are these benefits? One, it will going to bring healthy competition among our local healthcare service providers. Everybody will sit up. Because if you are not ready to sit up, you should be ready to lose your patient to the serious ones. 2, it will improve our standard of care. It will reduce the rate of outbound medical tourism. I mean people going abroad for medical treatments. And the money they are going to spend will be retained in the country. Then it will create jobs, opportunities and investment opportunities for Nigeria. It will yield foreign revenue for us. People will start coming to Nigeria to receive treatment. Foreign revenue will start coming. Then it will reduce the rate of brain drain syndrome, which is popularly known as Japa syndrome. Japa syndrome. Your science to stay, because what they are looking, our local healthcare science provider are looking abroad is making them to migrate. It's only medical tourism that start bringing all these things. Then lastly, it will increase our GDP ratio, because if more revenues are coming, the one that's supposed to go out is retaining, and foreigners are coming to receive treatments in Nigeria, they are coming with foreign currency, and this will going to increase our GDP ratio.
But I'm tempted to ask at this point, is it that the government is not seeing it from this light, or the government is shying away from addressing the positive side of medical tourism in Nigeria? What do you mean they don't know?
They don't know. Because of their understanding about it. Because what they know about medical tourism is all about traveling overseas. So whenever you are coming to talk to them, enlighten them, educate them about medical tourism, they don't want to give the listing here. So and if you don't give listing here, how will you know? Because they already know that medical tourism is all about traveling abroad for medical treatments. You understand? So now when you are coming to discuss with them, they thought that you are coming to discuss with them on how to be taking patients abroad. And we are losing whooping sum of money to outbound medical tourism. And mind you, Nigeria alone constitutes 70 to 80% of the outbound medical tourism expenditure in Africa. Like as I said, Nigeria loses no less than $2 billion to urban medical tourism annually, and the entire Africa loses over $2 billion to urban medical tourism annually. So this Nigeria alone constitute 70 to 80% of the expenditure. So they don't want Nigeria to spend more. That is why they're busy condemning medical tourism, because they don't understand the concept. They claim they know, but they don't know.
All right. So medical tourism, like you've said, you have healthcare facilitators. Does one need to go to school to become a healthcare facilitator?
Yes.
Or is a field you just dabble into? You need to be a medical practitioner. You was studying probably science student.
I studied in India and I was trained by Indians. So, but in this part of the world, in Nigeria, I don't think something that they don't even like, they don't even understand. How would they even think of having the school?
But you practice it, but not calling that name though.
Yes, no, I don't know. Maybe they say healthcare business. I don't know if there's even healthcare business in any school in Nigeria. So, because they don't know, how will we go to even think of having a school? And something that they are busy condemning because of their understanding about it. But if you go to Turkey, you go to India, you go to Egypt, you go to UK, you go to Thailand, Singapore, Mexico, Ukraine, there are schools that's offering medical tourism as a course, health tourism as a course. You understand? But in Nigeria, we don't have. But very soon, if we embrace it, very soon we are going to have the course in some of our universities, in some of our schools.
That sounds very interesting. So we're saying in the next few years we should be able to be looking at medical tourism institutes across Nigeria.
Sure.
Okay, so again, as an entrepreneurship venture, like every other normal business, like you've rightly said, medical healthcare facilitators, one thing it sounds like as an obstacle even in this field, and that's the fact that first, medical practitioners don't advertise, and this has become like a norm. But then we see healthcare facilitators. I see you're already laughing to this. That's what makes it very interesting. Now, to this point, I'm asking, as medical, as a wing, as a branch of medicine, or as a branch of the medical field, can medical tourists, can we advertise? Can we talk about their businesses in public? Is it lawful?
Yeah, it's true. They can advertise. They are allowed to advertise.
Medical facilitators,
they are allowed to advertise.
This is not adherence with the.
They can even promote.
This is not adherence with the medical ethics.
No. The challenge there is that is because of fear of extortion. But in my research so far, what I discovered is that I've met many renowned medical personnel in Nigeria, time without numbers, and asking them that why is it that it's not allowed? Because what I heard outside, I'm that kind of person, when I hear about something, I don't easily believe it or conclude on it. So I have to start asking, do my finding to come up with fact before I can come on air or come anywhere and mention it or talk about it. So the many renowned medical personnel I have met and I discussed this issue, they say they are allowed to advertise, to even promote, but that they should mind language they use. You cannot say, okay, I'm Dr. Godwin, Center in Abuja, and I'm the best orthopedic surgeon, or I'm the best cardiologist in Abuja. You can't use that kind of word. You cannot say you are the best, but you can come and talk about your center, you understand, and what you are capable of doing, what you have been doing, you understand, and the success rate. But you cannot come and say, okay, I'm the best cardiologist.
So is this also applicable to health care facilitators?
We don't have that law in Nigeria. It's when we embrace medical tourism, then government sign this into law, they will give us the guideline of what we should do and what
tentatively, there's your guidelines and rules that governs you do medical tourism you study medical tourism outside the shores of Nigeria.
Yes.
Does this principle applies even
Yes, you cannot do it, but there's a way we promote, because they taught us how to promote facilities.
What do you mean? Because this is like an entrepreneurship, so I'm interested in this. If this is an entrepreneurship conversation, so how do you promote without promoting?
Okay, let me use this example for you. I say you can promote without my word.
And that means you're not promoting. You might promote without promoting, because if you're coming out to say
you might word you use.
Okay.
You understand? You might word you use, because this is healthcare. And why we should be mindful of what the word we use when we come to promotion of healthcare is because of fear of extortion. You understand? It's because of fear of extortion. I was in Pakistan. That was 4 months ago. That is last year. I was in Pakistan, and the hospital that invited me, I said good things, a lot of good things about them. Their competitive advantage, you understand, their appeal of medical tourism. I talk about all the appeals they have.
By appeal, we do what, please?
You know, there is driving factors.
Okay.
And there's appeal of medical tourism.
Please
what is the driving factors? Driving factor is those things that is making people to leave where they are staying to another location for treatments, for quality medical treatments. Then appeal are those things that the destination has, that make people, that is attractive, you understand, that is making people to go to that destination. For example, now in Nigeria, we talk of availability of treatment. Some of the treatments are not available in our hospitals. For example, there's no hospital in Nigeria that can do liver transplant. There's no hospital that can do heart transplant. There's no hospital in Nigeria that can do HIPEC surgery. There's no hospital in Nigeria that can do robotic surgery. Now, if as we don't have this, now it's a challenge to us, and is the driving factors. For example, India has most of these treatments that I mentioned. You understand? So a patient can go to India now to receive maybe heart transplants. So going to India now, India has that appeal. You understand? This is the advantage over us. You know, we try with that number to educate our people to see the beauty of medical tourism. It's not about busy condemning medical tourism. It's not about, do we have the driving factors? Sorry, do we have the appeal? Do we have the appeal? So even though we have treatment available, maybe the cost of treatment is high. Affordability of treatment is one of the driving factors. It does not mean that you don't have the treatment. You can have the treatment and people go to where the cost of treatment is less to go and obtain it.
So invariably we cannot call medical tourism at this point as an entrepreneurship journey.
I'm sorry. There's something I want to say. You know, if you go to some hospital, the treatments are available and they are even affordable, but the treatments are not accessible due to shortage of doctors. You go to some hospital to see a doctor, they will give you an appointment to come in 1 time or 2 months time to come and see doctor. So if you have your money, you stay because the treatment is available and it's cheap. But I have no replacement. You can go to where the treatment is available, even though the cost is, even though it's not affordable, and you have your money, because I have no replacement and obtain it there. What of the trust? And that is one of the things we are lacking in our health sector. Trust. You may have everything, and they can even go to where it's even lesser than your channel to go and get it.
Alright, before you even come back to my station as using as an analogy, it's fine. But then I'm asking at this point, going by what you've said, we cannot categorically then say that medical tourism or facilitators or healthcare facilitators are entrepreneurs. We can't categorically say that.
It's deeper. It's not just we are also into service of humanity.
So why I'm asking this question, because based on the criteria and factor that forms an entrepreneurship journey, there are some things that an entrepreneur is free to do. But you have said that the medical
limitation.
Okay, so you have limitations, so you cannot categorically say that the healthcare facilitators are entrepreneurs.
So but even in entrepreneurial business, you cannot come and abuse people's business. Yes, you cannot come and condemn people online. Yeah, the person can sue and anything can happen. Because you don't have right to come on air or to come and abuse people.
Yeah, most definitely.
You understand? And you can be sued for that.
But you didn't call the person's name. But I mentioned your name. You know what I'm saying is different. You told us here on this show this morning that you cannot go out and to say that I am Dr. A, B, and C.
You mentioned
I am Dr. A, B, and C, and I am the best.
Yes, if you talk, you understand, in Nigeria we have the best doctor.
No, you said you cannot go out to say I am the best.
Don't quote me wrong.
Okay, please.
Don't quote me wrong.
Okay, so I have the best educators. I'm the best yes,
Godwin,
yes,
I'm the best cardiologist in Nigeria.
Yeah,
is against their ethics.
So invariably, but invariably, if you are a healthcare facilitator, you cannot go out to say that, hey, my name is Godwin and I'm the best healthcare facilitator in Nigeria.
Yes.
So it's against the law. Which relative term can go and use that?
What you would do? You can come. Okay, we have a health tourism company, and
so even if you receive the awards are the best, yes, and you can still not come out to claim that you're the best.
If it's award, you can come and talk about the award. But it's three things here. Yeah. We have healthcare facilitators, we have healthcare seekers, and we have healthcare service providers.
I'm more particular about facilitators.
The healthcare facilitators, there are some things we can do that the healthcare service providers cannot do. You understand? We can promote, but we should be mindful of our statements or what we say. You understand? Because there are some things you will say that will be used against you. So we're always careful of what we do and what we say.
Alright. What I'm trying to get this clarity is because for people, our viewers, to understand that there is a deep gap between
sign them. But as a human being, you have to have human feelings. You have to have sympathy for your human being, not for your fellow human being. You understand? So in some businesses, it's not like that. When they are making money, making abnormal profit, it doesn't concern them. All they know, they are making profit.
All right. So at this point, are healthcare facilitated bound by contractual agreements?
Yes. Yes, but I don't know in Nigeria, there is nothing like that for now. You understand? There's no law that guided it because it's not business as in Nigeria.
Okay, so how do you operate in Nigeria? How do the healthcare facilitators operate in Nigeria if there are no laws? Like I said, there are no contract. We cannot enter into a gentleman contract and sign, and it's binding on both of us as healthcare facilitators.
Sure.
Saying that if I'm sending you to AYZ destination, and if that service is not being delivered or rendered like you rightly said,
I understand.
I can automatically sue. Yeah.
Yes. Because if the way we work is that if you contact us and you are having a challenge and you're looking for the best hospitals and the right doctors in any destination, either home or abroad, the first thing we do, after asking some questions, have you been to any local hospital? If yes, okay, what was the outcome of your stand? What was the outcome from the hospital? If you have, for example, a medical records from that hospital, like CT scan, MRI scan, we'll get all these things. Then we'll give a form to fill, a contract form for the patient to fill. The patient will fill the informations, and all these informations is there. The way we work, for example, now we don't collect money from the patient. And this has been happening because many of our medical personnel in Nigeria indirectly have turned to healthcare facilitators. They send patients abroad also, the way we do. They say that they send a patient abroad, and when anything happens, you understand, and they'll start denying. Look at what happened to Ike Ekweremadu. Doctor is involved. Some doctors are turned to either home or abroad, have turned to healthcare facilitators. So we have all this form we give. Under normal circumstances, we don't have any right to collect money from the patient, but we can collect our service charge because the hospital we are referring the patient to will give us incentive. You understand? But if you charge patient, okay, this is okay, 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira, 200 naira is our service from the patient. We package the patient and send the patient to the hospital. The hospital do collect the patient to the hospital. The hospital do collect all the money from the patient. So that is one of the examples I want to do. So if any patient. So that is one of the examples I want to do. So if any healthcare service provider collect money from the patient and there is breach of agreement, because there's one thing that happened to one of my patients that traveled to India some years ago. What happened? Apparently the patient, when the patient started doubting my services because I'm not a medical personnel, I have to connect him with one of my partner. So, but my partner is late. The funniest thing is that my partner was there collecting money from the patient unknown to me. So, when the patient gets to the hospital, and they say the patient should deposit some money before he can start receiving treatment. And the funniest thing, the money hasn't gone to the hospital. The hospital has said that without deposit, they cannot treat the patient. You understand what I'm saying? They cannot treat the patient. So the patient has to start as breach of agreement, because that is why we give the form to the patient to fill, so that will bind both of us. So in the case of breach of agreement, then the healthcare sector or the patient has right to sue us. And if there is false allegation on us, we have that right to also sue the patient. I don't know if I've answered.
No, I'm trying to understand some of the narratives that you're giving, but then let's move on away from that conversation. Okay, let's look at the fact that when you want to become a healthcare facilitator, even in this country, you said that you have to go to school, you have to be schooled. Okay, but you've not told us which profession one needs to study to be able to dabble or to venture into a healthcare facilitator.
Any profession. Because I'm an investment analyst. Okay. I studied banking and finance from the university. My first and second degree is banking and finance. You understand? But I studied. But if you want to go for master in it, you have to do your PGD. Then after PGD, then you can go for MSc, you can go for PhD. You understand? Yeah. So any course, provided that you do your PhD, you are qualified to do it, because we are not clinicians, like as I told you. And you must not be a science student before you can learn health tourism business.
You must not be a clinician to be able to dabble into that line of business. All right, so let's talk lastly even on this segment. Technology has come to stay, and technology keeps evolving every now and then. Health facilitators like you are, and as an evolving field in Nigeria, are there technologies that has been put in place to even facilitate some of your processes that you do?
Yes.
Robotic?
Yes, there is what we call telemedicine, teleconsultation. Telemedicine is also known as teleconsultation. And what is telemedicine? Telemedicine simply means the use of telecommunication and information technology to provide healthcare services at a distance. A doctor can be abroad, can be in India, in UK, or in US, and the patient in Nigeria can consult the doctor visually. You understand? It was not necessary to go abroad to go and consult the doctor. And this save time, save cost, save risk of traveling and all these things. So it's part of things we also do. Teleradiology is one of it also, reading of images at a distance. You know, it's not every radiologist or every medical personnel that can read radiology results. That is why we have teleradiology. So whenever we have a radiology result, what I mean, like CT scan, MR scan, mammogram, and all these things, we scan it and sent to radiology, radiology that knows about teleradiology. They will interpret it and send it back to us.
All right.
And also have telehealth, which has to do with exchange of knowledge at a distance, medical personnel exchanging knowledge at a distance or getting training. Because many people always mix them together. You know, there's a difference between telehealth and teleradiology. These are the platform we use also in our office.
Okay.
So why I'm saying this, telemedicine is more of patients or healthcare seeker consulting doctors or medical personnel visually. Then why telehealth has to do with knowledge, imparting knowledge visually. You understand? So these are the platforms we use also, and that is what we are seriously working on it to make it bigger. So although there are many telemedicine platform in Nigeria, but most of them, they are not reliable. Yeah, they are not reliable. There are many, but I don't want to mention any, but they are not reliable. When I interacted with them, maybe it's topic for another day when I went to discuss about telemedicine, telehealth, and teleradiology.
All right. So let's, before I let you go, let's assess the impact of medical tourism in Nigeria. For many, they will say that medical tourism has become a bane to Nigeria because the disadvantage outweighs the advantage. But here you are, you're a practitioner. Give us a ratio, put us on a scale. What has been the impact so far in terms of our growth and development as a people? Has medical tourism been of any impact to Nigerians?
Yes, because medical tourism has saved many lives. If you look at many people going abroad for treatment, majority of them is when the cases is even the situation is getting out of hand. I don't know if I have come across some patient traveling abroad when maybe the family member has lose hope that this patient will not going to survive again. You understand? And these people, whether we like it or not, they are above us. I'm talking about people abroad, healthcare, international healthcare service providers, they are above us because of the advancement in technology. You understand? Like in Nigeria now, for example, there's no hospital that has a saber knife. That's the latest technology they are using to handle tumor, cancer of different type. There's no hospital in Nigeria, and we have people that can buy this machine, even 2 or 3, a single person in Nigeria. And there's another machine called gamma knife, and this has to even is the latest equipment also to use to handle brain tumor. You understand? And in Nigeria, there are some surgery we are doing for more than 15 years now abroad. They are no longer doing surgery again because of cutting-edge technology. You understand? I don't know if you understand. I'm saying they are not using it again. We should stop condemning medical tourism abroad. You understand? We should be looking for strategies. Well, for example, now if we have people that can come in now and buy all these equipments we are talking about, like this gamma knife, saber knife now, we can start marketing health tourism to Nigeria, and people from neighboring countries outside Africa now start even coming to Nigeria to receive treatment. Well, I was asking that question to ask. Please go ahead. So we should stop condemning medical tourism. All we need to do now is that I want this to go viral, and people are hearing it from all over the world. What we need in Nigeria now is for us to start working on our plan of medical tourism instead of busy or improve our standard of care instead of busy condemning medical tourism. And I want you to know that medical tourism is not our problem. And it's this medical tourism that can even bring investors in good number, both home and abroad, to Nigeria to invest heavily. Do you know why? Okay, let me ask you this question. Why is it that government is giving attention to oil and gas and is not giving attention to healthcare? It's because healthcare is not bringing anything reasonable income to the country. You understand? And secondly, another thing I want to let you know, there are 3 things, you understand, that investor needs to come to any business to invest, not even health sector. What are those things? 1, they need a place that their capital will be secured. They need a place that the return on investment is guaranteed as at when due. As at when due is the 3rd one. When their capital will be secured, the return on investment is guaranteed as at when due. So we don't have all these things in our health sector. And that is why you see some of our local healthcare service providers, they will collect loan and establish business, and before you know, the business will wind up, they will look for them and seize their properties, and some of them even leave their properties and run away from the country. Yeah, because there's no business in our health sector, and we are trying to bring business to our health sector so that to attract investors, both foreign and local investors, to invest in Nigeria health sector. So, and the only thing that will make them to invest is by us embrace medical tourism. So medical tourism is a solution to the challenges we are facing in our health sector. Well, Usman, I want to say at this point, thank you so much for being a part of Global Morning this morning. And thank you for the opportunity. All right, so we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, more to come on Global Morning. Please go nowhere as Global Morning continues in a moment.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews, and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
You're welcome back, and it's still Global Morning on Global Television, and this is the second segment when it comes to the second topic of the day. And of course, I am Jumai Manson, and my co-host is here with me, Godwin Sunday, and we're looking at NNPC reduces petrol pump price, issues instructions to filling stations. There's a particular pump price that must be all petrol stations must adhere to. Now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has reduced the petrol pump price from 960 naira to 945 naira per liter at its retail stations. Now, the price adjustment, Godwin, which took effect on Thursday, February 13th, that was yesterday, followed instructions from the company to its retail outlets. Now, the change in this price was confirmed at the NNPC filling station in Ejigbo, that's in Lagos. Now, this morning, there were instructions from the head office to reduce the price from 960 naira to 945 naira. We already see that the level of patronage and queues in some filling stations, which was mentioned. We mentioned about that this morning. Now, petrol attendants at the station disclosed this, however. Now, not all consumers are optimistic about the price reduction because, as reported by newspapers, some commercial drivers at stations says although petrol price have been reduced, it will have no effect on the fares as the reduction is too small for anyone to adjust to. And you mentioned that it's really small compared to how it was really. Now, other filling stations have actually adjusted the adjustments, and some are selling at the rate of 970 naira per liter, while some mobile and petrol can are selling at the rate of 960, 970 naira respectively. Now, the price reduction by the NNPC comes on the heels of a similar move by MRS, which you mentioned this morning, right, Godwin, which recently announced a new petrol pump price of 925 naira per liter across all filling stations in Lagos. Now, we're looking at this very soon. Now, we look at since the removal of fuel subsidy by this present administration, petrol price have hovered around 1,000 naira per liter. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over May 29, 2023, and the product was sold at 198 naira per liter. That was then. Now, looking at this seriously, do you think all petrol stations will actually adhere to this new change of selling petrol price at this particular price? Looking at it critically now, and we know how we are in Nigeria, especially when there are no monitoring committee going around filling stations. I know you said it's regional. We have the rates for Lagos, the northern part, which is 945 naira and all of that. But how true is this going to happen? Because a lot of people are like, what the driver said. Some drivers are saying it will not affect the fare anyway because it's minimum. How much is it from 960 to 945? How much is it? The difference is really, really small. Do you think some petrol stations will adhere to this, and would this make any impact or difference basically?
Well, first the thing that Nigeria moved from barely a decade ago, we were buying fuel for 87 naira.
Yes.
And right now we're buying for 945 naira.
But remember, before this development, that was from NNPC. Other filling stations were selling at 1,000 plus.
If they are not still selling, that is. Filling stations will still be selling at that rate. And just look at it. When they moved the fuel from 87 naira down to 197, then to 400, it was going serially. But now that it is time to reduce this fuel, we reduce it by 20 naira, by 30 naira, by 10 naira. What's all of this? Can we just make a significant reduction in the price of fuel for once? Bring the price down to what we've been agitating, bring it down to 300 naira.
You said so.
Let's have that conversation from there. Let's come back to the drawing board. Look at what we can produce as a people. We have CNG that is working for us as a people right now. CNG is there. We still have refineries, 2 refineries that are come alive, but we can still have more modular refineries that we can even explore. So looking at all of these things, I believe that the government can do better in terms of ensuring that what they promise Nigerians is what we are getting, is what Nigerians are getting. Because if you say that you're reducing the Nigerian man has a thick skin. Right now, the Nigerian man has adjusted his whole mindset to the fact that, to the current realities. So when you move 20 naira difference, there might be no actual significant, no change.
Exactly.
Women selling food by the roadside do not reduce the price of food, because the woman tells you that the price of fuel was just reduced by 20 naira. This
What can you do to your business?
Impact on our business. Let's take this conversation back to the rural communities, and let's try to feel their pulse to see what they are also feeling. It's not convenient for anybody at this point. If we're saying the budget has been passed, yeah, fantastic, and the price of fuel follow suit, reduced back to 250 or 300 or 400, whatever you, but nothing outside 500. Bring it back. Now you see, automatically things will be forced, price of commodities will be forced to come down. Things in the market will be forced to reduce. If you don't want to reduce your commodity, you'll be seen as a very wicked person, because the government has done its own part. It's left for you to follow suit. Now the discrepancies in terms of the price of the food of the fuel that is region based is another disturbing factor. Now people from the east, I kept asking, are they not Nigerians? Why don't we have a uniform structure where we say, if you're going to buy fuel for 9.35, let's buy 9.35, not just in the west, but across Nigeria. If you're buying it for 9.45, not just in the north, let it be a flat rate across the country.
Exactly.
Now you're buying fuel for 9.55 in the east, and prior to this time they've been buying above 8,000 naira. So what has changed? You've just moved within some of this is less than give 45 naira for 1,000 naira. So the change is not much. If you want to reduce the price, let's reduce this and have this conversation. This is a conversation that we need to have as a people. Then look at it. What informs the decision for the region-based petroleum sharing formula? Is it that the eastern part of Nigerian access to the roads we don't have access to the roads, or we have poor road network, or the way we have bad road? Let's look at those things. Let's address them so that we can have a uniform system across, so that one sector of the country will feel marginalized.
Exactly.
Which has always been the case. The eastern part people will tell you that they've been marginalized, that the previous government marginalized them, the government before that marginalized them, and this is what they've kept clamoring for since we ventured into the democracy, since we entered into our nascent democratic journey. But if we want to have this whole thing and create a form of egalitarian system, then I should think at this point we should begin to call a spade and do the needful to push this country from where it is right now to where we want it to be as a people.
For as much as the petroleum product has that, I know you said 20 naira, some 45 naira, and all of that. You heard what the driver said. The driver said it has no impact on the transportation system.
Absolutely.
It hasn't done anything. So if I'm going to still the fare from, let's say, for instance, from Egbeda to Ocean, I'm just using Lagos now, was 400 naira. It's still the same 400 naira. Nothing has changed because it's 20 naira. But that impact of taking we buy fuel at the rate of 300 or 400, if we can go as low as that, then that impact will actually make a difference in our society.
Talking about, just to interrupt you, you've not even mentioned the fact that Ipman have not said anything about that.
Exactly.
The petroleum marketers have not come out.
They've not come out to say anything.
NNPC comes out to give an instruction of this magnitude, instruction of filling stations to go by this rate. Ipman are the distributors. They are the marketers.
Exactly.
They lift this product from the production ground and take it and distribute this product across the country.
And remember, these same marketers complained about Dangote's product being too high at a point that I think it's better to just keep importing. So we've not heard anything from the marketers yet, and this is already took effect from yesterday. But let us see whether some filling stations are going to implement this particular price
price decrease when it comes to the fuel commodity, but really, for some, they will tell you nothing has changed. The drivers will tell you nothing has changed. The market women out there will tell you nothing has changed. Individuals, businesses will tell you nothing has changed. It's just 20 naira and all of that. But for me, like, I always go to the drawing board. I always say at least something has happened. Even if it's not drastic, but at least something minimal has happened. It might not make a difference, but at least there's a decrease somewhere. And with that, maybe with time, it will decrease, as in creating that impact.
I like the way you're always optimistic about Nigeria.
It's very important.
And the fact that you always
this is the only country we have.
Say that you just smile about it.
I'm a Nigerian.
That's quite interesting.
I'm a Nigerian.
Juma, just to draw your attention again to the fact that NNPCL, which has become a limited company, giving out instruction to, I find that very ridiculous. I find that very ridiculous. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has reduced the price of and now instructed all the filling stations to do so. But now this is first, it is not funny. To look at it from the flip side of the coin, we now ask, are the filling stations also lifting from where NNPC is lifting from? Because if they are not, then this conversation is not going the right direction. We need to look at these things critically. That's what I'm saying. Differences and how they will be able to augment in terms of price. Because one thing we've been complaining again is that the price of what they use in importing the fuel into the country and the PMS and other AGOs and what have you, it's quite different compared to what they are producing right now in the country. So they need to sell off first, then they have to come to a compromise. It's okay, you sell off probably 2, 4, 5 tankers or trucks or whatever you, then they will now reach a compromise. Okay, you can forfeit this price for this and let us meet at probably at an essential point, a middle point. We can now start saying, okay, let's renegotiate, but did not come out to say. And this is going to, because it's just weekend. I think for me, I should think at this point that NNPC is trying to test the waters.
We are
both optimistic.
We are both optimistic. It's very important at that point. But let's just see how it is. And I mentioned something about the decline when it comes to the amount fuel products should be sold. Is the transparency around it. If we get to this point that Godwin is talking about, let's say we get to the point of 400 naira per liter, hopefully, of course, because we have this particular products being produced here in Nigeria. So we're not importing any foreign aged materials when fuel is concerned. So if it's here, and we get to that point, how transparent will these fuel pump be? I mentioned in the morning that I had incidents that some of us bought for like 1,000 plus. Everyone has to do with the black market when filling stations closed down. It was a very pathetic sight back then when people were going through a lot when you had to do with fuel issue. And then you see some pumps are not being transparent when they will, at that point, they just, as in, there's a word I'm looking for. They'll adjust their pump, not the price, but the pump. They'll adjust it, and then you buy less of what you are paying for. So if I'm buying fuel of 20,000 for calculate the liters, I get less than that, and they tell you, well, that is it. So we're going to go that way. I think there should be transparency, and it's important that we have monitoring committees that go around to check.
That's the major challenge.
I would say major challenge because we don't have that. There was a time that we had some monitoring committees going around and checking some filling stations and all that. Check the quality of the fuel, check whether the pump is attendance and all of that. But now we don't get much of that anymore. And if you get to that, now that there is a decrease when it comes to the amount of fuel in which is being sold. Now I know 45,000. 45 naira is not much.
Let us go 45,000.
45 naira is not much. There is something, and we'll get somewhere by the grace of God. But at least we need a monitoring committee to actually go around to check. Very important to ensure that we are getting the right amount of fuel once you pay for, and the quality of fuel which we are getting, so that
our pumps will not, the way you said that for it affects the pumps in the car and all of that. So we should check all of that, is very important. But like we said, this took effect yesterday, and let's see how well and how long this will be. And I'm urging to hear what the market is going to say.
It's going to be a long weekend.
A very long weekend when it comes to this issue of
it's going to be a long weekend, because even the filling stations are yet to come out to respond to this. They are going to comply or not. Of course, they are going to also come out to speak. By the time we get to the filling stations to want to buy the fuel, we'll have conversations like, is it an NPC that
welcome back from that very short break, and it's Global Morning on Global Television. And we're still talking about the fuel issue, and of course you spoke about the health issue also at the cause of the beginning of the first discuss of the day. But looking at it, let's just be hopeful. I just feel we should be hopeful. I know businesses have actually crumbled due to this fuel removal of subsidy. A lot of people have gone out of business because it's light, and the grid is not doing us a lot of good by the grid collapse and all of that. So people can't even work with light. You have to rely on fuel generators and all of that. A lot of people use it on the day, and if you're out there, you're saying to yourself, it doesn't concern me. You need it for a lot of things. You have to iron your clothes, you have to means of transportation. When you go to the market, the hike in food. Why? In the morning, how does that correlate? It correlates because they will transport the food to the market. It's a matter of time. You definitely need it. But at the same time, let's be hopeful. At least this is a step in the right direction from the price of what we used to buy to what we're buying now. And we pray that all filling stations adhere to this. Very important. And with time, we know that we will experience a good buy when it comes to fuel products. And with that, Godwin, you know what? We have to wrap it up. Valentine's.
Valentine. I almost forgot that today is Valentine's.
Really? A lot of people will be angry with you for saying that.
Probably because I'm not on red. And so, when I leave the studio, I'll go and change up.
It's very important.
So I'll be able to join the funfair of Valentine and celebrate. Of course, hopefully I'll get a gift today.
Yes, of course. I look like we have to wrap it up on the program. Thank you all so much for being a part of Global Morning with us today to allow us to grace your TV set. Remember, it's Global Television. Don't forget, we're on App Store now. Remember, we are, on your Google Play or your Apple Store. You can just click and download, and hey, it's Global Television. You can watch us anywhere in the world. So we have an app now, so you don't miss out on any interesting stories when it comes to news, current affairs, entertainment, sports, and all the good stuff combined. So don't forget to either your Google Store or your Play Store, just click and you are good to go. You can watch us wherever you are in Nigeria, all around the world. That's exciting news, isn't it? It's very exciting. And with that, we have to wrap up the program. Thank you all once again. I am July Manson, and my co-host is wearing a lovely cap on his head.
I'm Godwin Sunday.
Have an amazing day ahead, and from us, we will say bye-bye.